Looking at this team moving forward, Dave, you always count on progression. You count on young guys to take that next step and improve their game. And I think one that's absolutely crucial for this team was their first-round pick from this year, Byron Murphy, who, I mean, he plays a position that just isn't. It's not a glamour spot. He's not on the edge. He's not accumulating stats and sacking the quarterback left and right and causing disruption off the edge. He's an interior guy.
He's a grinder.
Yeah. And it's sort of a thankless position, I think, a lot of times.
Yes, it is.
You see the true standouts, if you go back to Warren Sapp or you go, obviously, to Aaron Donald, some interior guys that could really be a problem inside. Chris Jones, people like that. Is he a guy and I know it's 1 year. I'm not saying he's great or he's terrible or anything. It's just 1 year. I think maybe I had a higher expectation just based on how he was talked about coming out of the draft, that he was just this wrecking machine and he's a problem and he's going to be a difference maker. I didn't see a ton of that. I didn't see I don't know. Like if I were to grade him, I'd probably give him a B-, somewhere around there, C+. I don't know. What kind of year do you think he had?
Yeah, it's funny. I kind of stumbled across this and I had to look at it twice because I'm like, really? He had 12 solo tackles?
Yeah.
12.
Yeah, it's not. You played 17 games.
Yeah, well, he missed 3, right? So he played in 14 games, and and he got a half a sack, I believe. So I mean, you look at the stats, and see, I think that's one of the things that like when you look at quarterbacks and everything. I mean, sometimes the stats only take you so far.
Yeah.
So I don't think he played poorly at all. I just think he is kind of a run-of-the-mill, like you just said. You come back your second year. I don't think anybody ever complained about him. I don't think he had any problems. I never saw him get, just blown off the line of scrimmage or anything. But, yeah, you didn't see a whole lot of production from him. And, it's difficult when you miss a few games, especially your rookie year, that, it kind of interrupts the flow. And I think it was early on. Like he missed the Detroit. He was one of the 5 guys that we were missing on our defense in Detroit.
Right.
Yeah. And so, his last game he played in the first 3 and then he didn't come back till the Atlanta game. So yeah, missed 3 games there. That kind of screwed him up a little bit, but it's just not a position of production. But you can kind of tell those are rookie numbers, right?
Right.
12 solo tackles. I mean, even the run-of-the-mill defensive tackles will get, 3, 2, 3, 4 sacks. So at that position. But I think it's more. I think it got interrupted. I don't think it was a problem, and I don't think anybody ever said, "Oh, that was a bust or a bad pick." No. I don't think anybody went to drew that conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, to me, we're talking about grades. Maybe it's more of an incomplete. Maybe it's more of I don't know yet. I'm not, for that spot on the line, I'm not looking at his stats so much as I'm just, how often did I hear his name called? How often did I see him sort of pop like, wow, look, he's got 2 guys or 3. He's accounting for 2 or 3 guys, and he's requiring all this attention that opens up things for the guys around him. How often was that happening? And I didn't feel like certainly there were moments, but, in terms of hearing his name called and him being just an obvious problem at times, it didn't happen as much as I thought it would. I was hoping for more. I'll say that.
Yeah. Who I would compare him to, and I don't know if anybody's really heard this guy's name, Greg Cragen. He was a defensive tackle for, he was actually a Pro Bowler at one point in 1989, but he never had more than 3 sacks. And in his career, which lasted 13 years, he had, 28 and a half sacks. So, yeah, a little over a couple three a game or a year. And that guy was so good. Like I had so much success because of him. And one of the things that he would do, although it's illegal, was, when they have that duo block where they're going to double team the tackle, and then one's going to go up to the linebacker. I could, if I close my eyes, I can still see him grabbing the guy's jersey so he couldn't get up to the next level. And, that's defensive holding if you do it the wrong way. And he would do those kinds of things. So, those are some of the other kind of things you don't even really talk about when you look at stats and stuff like that. And, I saw Byron Murphy do a little bit of that. But, yeah, Greg Cragen was just one of those nameless interior defensive linemen that I just loved playing behind him. And he was incredible at, that kind of thing, keeping guards off of you, and that's valuable.
Mike McDonald was asked about him and talked about what he thought of Byron Murphy's rookie season.
Byron is going to be a great player in this league. He already is a great player in this league. He's going to have a great career. He's in a great room, so like his role can skyrocket, and it'll be what he makes of it, and he'll create that. But this guy's a 3-down player. He's done a great job.
So, a lot of great in there.
There's lots of greats.
Great. Had a great season. I wouldn't call it a great season, but all right. He's the coach. He knows ball.
Well, yeah, and also he's I mean, none of us were looking at, every single play. I mean, everybody gets graded like, when you look at film, you're running it back probably 3 or 4 times on every single player. And this is why, like Moyer, I'm so surprised at Moyer and Bumpus too, that those guys look at a lot of film. And I'm like, I look at a decent amount of film, but I just get so freaking bored running it back and forth and back because of the thousands of hours I put in watching film in the NFL. And I think, remember, it was Earl Thomas is like, oh my God, the meetings. I mean, we got to have another meeting and a meeting to see if we need a meeting and, watching the film. But yeah, I mean, if you go back and look at that stuff and look at it, the way that those guys are looking at it, it's probably great.
Yeah, I'll trust him. I mean, they're watching every single aspect of every single game. So they're analyzing every play of every game, and I'll defer to that. I mean, they're not going to throw him under the table, as some say. They're not going to go, well, you know what? I was hoping for more. He was pretty disappointing. I mean, you're just not going to hear that, even if that's their truth. So you got to take what they say with a grain of salt to a certain extent. But I'm not looking at him as a bust. I was just hoping to hear him more, hear his name more, and just notice him more, and just see, this guy is a problem, and maybe he becomes that.